everybody, it's Kristin and I have a total rehaul for you. If you are new to Total Rehaul, first of all, welcome. Second of all, this is a video where I go back and look at a haul from a few months ago, pull the products and come back and talk to you about them. And whether I like them, whether I didn't like them, maybe they never made a fails or a favorites, that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and get started. So I think this was in May and it was just after I had cut my hair, which by the way, it's getting long again and it's time for a chop. It's gonna be chopped in November. At any rate, so the first, I had kind of asked opinions of some of my friends that had experience with short hair recently and picked up some other things. And anyway, so the first thing I have is this Boosted High Lift Creation Spray. I do use this. I just don't have to use very much of it. This is still pretty full and I have used it frequently since I bought it. So this is something that I will just kind of pull back at, you know, right at my scalp. That is the word I'm looking for, scalp. Spray this in there and just kind of mess it up a little bit with my fingers. It adds some texture. I don't love doing it on day one because you know, day two then kind of it makes it a little trickier, but I've used it both and it's just fine. So I do really like it. The next one is unexpected how much I really like this. This is the L'Oreal Boosted Volume Inject Mousse, and I purchased this just because I think L'Oreal was buy one get one 50% off or something, and really like this. I like this a lot. And again, I don't have to use very much of it, and what I do is when my hair is wet, obviously on day one because it's wet, I will put just a little bit of this really just at my crown. I don't even pull it through my hair. I just am using it at my crown and it works really well. And lastly was the Garnier Fructis Texture Tease Dry Finishing Spray, which looks like this. This is okay. I don't love this like I do the Oribe. Of course, there's a slight price difference between the two, but I don't know, something about the Oribe just really works for me, and it kind of covers a lot of things. You can use it as a dry shampoo as well. This does, I don't know. This is nice, it's just not my favorite. So there is that. The next thing on there was the John Frieda Frizzi's Moisture Barrier Hairspray. I didn't like that at all. I feel like it had a scent, it didn't hold, or I can't even remember. I just remember I didn't like it. I showed it in an empties and I moved on. All right, the next thing that I purchased, and I did purchase this, it wasn't sent to me, is the Numi, can't remember the exact name of this. I'll list it below for you, of course. Oh, actually, I have it on my little list here. It's the Numi Magic Wand Professional Titanium Curling Wand, and this is the 25 millimeter. So I like this. I kind of wish that I had gotten the 19-inch because sometimes I just want a little bit tighter curl so that they can loosen up as the day goes and maybe, you know, have a second day with the curls. But I do like it. But I will tell you what, it does not matter what I do, and I don't wear the glove. I never wear gloves. I don't wear gloves like when I would be working in the garden back in the day, around the house doing any kind of work. I feel like it hinders my ability to do what I'm doing. But man, I burn myself with this thing regularly. So I do like this. I think it works really well. If you are skilled with working with a wand versus a curling iron, go ahead and use that. But what I found really works fine for me is I have those Conair curling irons. I've had them forever. And they have the, you know, the little plastic at the tip. I just will wrap my hair around that and it works just fine. It gives the same kind of curl, I think. And so while I really like the Numi, it's just I have to be too careful with it and I can't be as fast with it. Operator error, really. Next thing I talked about was this e.l.f. blending brush. It's called the Beautifully Bare Blending Brush. It looks like this. And I've shown this in my favorites. I absolutely love this brush. It works so well for blending out foundation. You can use it for cream products as well, but I really like this, and I think this one isn't $4. I think it sells for $6, but it's really nice. I mean, if you're just even curious about it, it's worth the $6, I think. I had to open my window because it's hotter than blazes. Today is the 18th of October, and it's for Wisconsin, it's warm, and it's got kind of hot and muggy in our house, so it's like 70 degrees. It's crazy. Anyway. Not complaining. So I really like this, worth the money. And then I have to grab this here. I bought this at Walmart as well. It's the Soho Round Organizer. And I even noted on here that I couldn't find it on Walmart's site, but you know, it's in store, but I did find it on Amazon. So I'll have that link below. This is what it looks like. And I use this every single day. I have it in my little organizer over here, which I don't think any, you guys have ever seen because I purchased it within the last few months. I purchased the pieces for it at the Container Store. But anyway, I have it sitting in there. So I don't use this bottom portion of it, but I use this top portion for a whole bunch of different things. So I absolutely like that. If you have this sitting on your desk, it does have drawers that open up like this here. And one of the things I really like about it is that there's different levels. Can you see there's different levels here? And so you can put your taller things in there and they won't like get lost. The shorter things don't get lost if you put them in the little ones. The taller things don't come flying out. So I really like that. I think that was a good, I think it was like $12 or something, very inexpensive. All right. Oh, and also in that, and I had pulled this out of there. I normally have this in there. It was this little flat top brush. And I did find a link for this somewhere, I think. So I'll list it below. My friend Tikaa had sent this to me. I will list her information. You guys have heard me talk about her a bunch, but this works really well for foundation. It works well for blending out a harsh line. You can see that I've used it recently. I just love this little brush. I think it was like $1 or something. But Tikaa had sent it to me. Next thing, I had reordered this because the one I had purchased when I was in New York was in the wrong shade. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow. And it's in the shade Fair Medium. I use this all the time. I absolutely love it. This has made it into a favorites and probably will land in my 2016 favorites. Love that. It's just a nice subtle highlight. That's not what I'm wearing today. I'll show you in a second. But it is a nice subtle highlight. And the contour just is nice and soft and perfect for light skin. So, and I did use that as a contour today. Then the next thing was something that Tikaa had sent me in that package. And this is the Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess palette. I'm not sure if this is still available or not. It was for a long time throughout the summer, but man, I just love this blush color. That is what I'm wearing today. I have used the bronze, but I like it more kind of as a blush than as a bronzer. It's a little too orange for me, but this highlight too, I mean, seriously, I love this palette. This travels with me almost every time I go anywhere. And it hardly looks like I've used it. That's one of the things I think I love most about it. It's going to last forever. So thank you again to Tikaa. That is a winner. If you guys can still get your hands on that, I don't think you would be sorry at all. The next thing I showed was the Jaclyn Hill Becca Champagne Collection Face Palette. You guys know, if you keep up with my videos, that I returned that palette. I couldn't get the blushes to blend very well at all. I had the same problem with the split pans. The highlights were nice, but it wasn't worth it for me to keep it for the money, so I did return that. All right, next was the Anastasia Single in Pink Champagne. How many times have you guys heard me talk about this since I hauled it? I'm going to grab it out of my little palette here. This is what it looks like, and I just love this. I love, love, love this shade. It's just stunning. Now, I didn't know when I purchased it that you could purchase so many and get a palette or something. I don't know. This is the only single I have. I don't think it'll be the last single I purchase, but it's the only single that I have. But so worth it. If you've been thinking about it, I just love that shade. It's just perfect. So this is something that did land. I don't even know if I think maybe I just talked about it in that video. This is the Marc Jacobs Fine Liner. And it's just one of these little small tip things. And while I was going to say, while I like this, I just can't even say, I haven't reached for it in so long. I probably should have returned it, because when I use this, I want to be able to get it into my tight line in between my lashes, and it makes my eyes all red and itchy. Now, I haven't used it in a long time, so maybe it was something to do with allergies. I don't know. I need to probably try it again, so my apologies. I should have a little more information for you on that, but I don't, because it was so annoying and irritating to my eye that I just never went back to it. I had shown my Sephora play box that I got in this haul. Since then, I've started doing my review and news, where I show the new play box and then I do a review of my old play box. So those are not super high viewed videos, which is fine, but I just want you guys to know, in case you're skipping over those thinking I'm just showing products that I've gotten in my most recent box, I actually go back and review all of the products in the previous month box and then show you the new ones, and I try to keep it relatively concise. So if you've been skipping over those thinking there's not any sort of information of value in there, maybe give them a look. No pressure, just say it. All right, I had placed an order with Camera Ready Cosmetics online because I wanted to get a couple of things from Benai. So I said that really fast. Benai. So the first thing that I purchased was this Essential Eyeshadow Palette. So I've seen so many people talk about it through the years. And while I like the idea of it, as far as these, eyeshadows come out and that sort of thing, I I don't know. I've used it a couple of times and it just wasn't magical for me. So yeah, I will probably be selling this. I have no interest in keeping that. So that, I just don't think it's necessary. And then the other thing that I purchased, I've not used at all. This happens sometimes in a rehaul. This is the Ben Nye Luxury Powder, and this was the one in Cameo. So it's the pinkier one. I tell you what, you guys, I had just kind of been waiting to use this until I used up the e.l.f. Complexion Perfection powder that it was on my list. And then I found the By Terry Hyaluronic. I had to pull it out to see what it actually is. I stopped myself. It's the Hyaluronic Hydra Powder by Terry. I can't stop using this, and so I haven't tried that yet. I will, I promise. And then also I showed the Too Faced Sweet Peach Palette, which was a sweet gift from my friend Mary from Glitzy Fritzy. You guys have seen this a million times. Now, I understand this is coming out again for the holidays, so I think probably your best bet as far as being updated as to when things are happening, maybe Trend Mood on Instagram, maybe, you know, Too Faced's Instagram. I think they're pretty good about updating things like that. So this is, I really like this palette. This is a winner of a palette. I really, it's not my top palette of the year. That goes to a different Too Faced palette, but I really like this. I think you should, you know, consider it anyway if you can get your hands on it. I just wish it wasn't so hard. I had to pause for the bus because I have my window open. It reminds me of the Lorac Mega Pro, the first one, all the debacle that was with that. I kind of feel like that's what this has turned into. So people kind of have a bad taste in their mouth about it, but it really is a nice palette. And lastly was the Lorac Beauty Handmade Skincare that I had shown. They had sent something to my P.O. box. It was just kind of a surprise package. And I showed a serum in my empties last month that I liked. I worked through it. I don't think I would purchase it again. I just looked to see if I still had the empty, and I don't. But I don't think I would purchase it again. It was one that I could only use at night, and I really had to let it sit for like an hour or so before I could put the rest of my skincare on. I did like how it worked, but I didn't like sort of the inconvenience of that. And their whipped body butters, if you want a really thick or need a really thick body butter, they are great if you like that sort of thing. For me, I don't have the patience to work that in so much, but I gave them to a friend of mine who is really enjoying them, and he's very, very happy. So just something to keep in mind. I'll have their link below. They actually sell through Etsy. I think I showed you everything that's on my face. I do have the Sweet Peach palette on my face today, and then the only other thing would be my lips. I have both lip liner and lipstick in Whirl from MAC on my lips. And I think that's everything. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them below. I hope you're having a great day, and everything that you do, be beautiful. Bye.